You see? Kena diabetes lah, like that lah, you see? See? Terrible, eh?
Wow, guys, I think this is a very difficult video to make. Something very personal that I'm going to try to talk about and hopefully help people with this video. Okay, short disclaimer also, I might be sharing some photos or maybe like even images of my wounds. So if you're queasy about seeing stuff like that, then I don't know, you can either skip or but I think it's important for me to share the photos, the images, so that you know exactly, or not exactly, I mean you have an idea of what actually what happened. So I hope you've been enjoying the last 3 videos I released where we went to KL and I brought the family to KL just around Chinese New Year. I think it was like the first week of Chinese New Year, and had a lot of fun there and good food and as you know, at the end of the video I told you guys like something not so good happened lah, something to do with my health and stuff like that. So here I want to talk a little bit about what happened. Okay, so actually I've been like last year I suspected I was pre-diabetic last middle to late last year. So I've actually been trying to take some actions to control my blood sugar and stuff like that. I didn't actually go for a blood test to measure how bad it was, but I could actually feel it. I was displaying some symptoms like, you know, getting thirsty and drinking a lot of water and going to the frequent urination, especially at night, and also some discoloration in the skin near my ankles, my legs. So these were actually quite clear signs that my health wasn't great. I was just consuming too much, maybe too much sugar or too much carbohydrates. Around, you know, during the holidays, around Christmas and up to Chinese New Year, there was a lot of eating being done. I literally was eating a little too much food, I guess. Even though I cut down all sugar, I was drinking like a lot of plain water, green tea and stuff like that, having more sugar-free stuff. But in the end, I think my high food consumption caught up with me. So during this period, I was feeling pretty bad. So basically, when I found out that I was, you know, had this glucose problem in my blood, I already started doing some changes to my lifestyle. Like I cut out sugar, but I didn't really, at first I didn't really do it 100%. Maybe I was when I went out for food, especially when I go for like coffee shops and stuff like that, I would still order maybe like a Dietary kurang manis or something, but still with a bit of sugar lah. So, but most of the time at home, I was just drinking like plain water, green tea, or just those Chinese tea and stuff like that without any sugar. But I was still consuming a little bit of sugar here and there. So actually, what really happened was we were eating so much during Christmas, or from Christmas up to Chinese New Year. I mean, there were like feasts, basically eating like going for everyday steamboat and, you know, not necessarily not unhealthy stuff, but just eating quite a lot. I was eating so much. So I guess it all caught up to me lah, in a sense, right? And when we went to KL, I mean, you've watched the videos, so you know how much me and my family were eating there, and we even had those, like, you know, the soups. Day one when we went there, we had the soup, remember, where like ginseng stuff, heaty stuff. Okay, so what happened after KL? So I got sick on the last day, right? I got sick on the last day, not even the last day, the second day. But at night, after I had the fried rice, if you see the last part of the part 3, we had the fried rice. I went to bed, and then the middle of the night, I started getting shivers, and I had a fever, right? I had a bad fever, and it lasted till the next morning. I took Panadol, but it still didn't really help. So I couldn't drive. So my wife actually drive. We just decided to come back to Penang after that. So we drove. We checked out, and then we just drove all the way back home to Penang. So came back, and then in a couple of days, I think the fever subsided. I felt a bit better because coming home, you stop eating so much, and I started drinking more water again. And then I noticed that I had cracked lips. I don't know if one of the shots I showed you guys after the KL trip, you can see like blisters on my lips, and they were pretty bad, and they didn't really, and it took a long time to heal, right? And a few days after I had the blisters, then I had the hemorrhoids, which I talked about in also a short when I was updating you guys in between the long videos, right? So yeah, so I got the hemorrhoids. I was very, very painful, terrible. At first, it just started. It was just like a swelling around the anus area, and then it wasn't bothering me so much. But after 2 or 3 days, it got really painful because it's kind of raw, and it erupts when you walk. So I finally went to see a doctor, and then I got some, I think, Deflon and some painkillers because I could hardly sit down. I was like sitting down like this, having to support with my hands. And some people were telling me like you need to get one of those children's floats, swimming floats, and sit on that. But anyway, so I started going on medication. And after the second day, I actually felt a lot better. The swelling had already gone down. The hemorrhoid had already shrunk a little bit, so it wasn't bothering me as much. But the thing is, it took about 5 to 6 days for it to go away almost completely, almost like 95% away. But I think a few days after I started having hemorrhoids, I noticed that there was a little bump on the left side of my abdomen, about 4 inches from my navel, and it was like the size of my thumb. So I went back to the doctor. I told him like, hey doc, something's happening. I can feel a little bump under my skin, it's like a hard, semi-hard growth lah. So he felt it. I mean, the skin looked perfectly normal. It wasn't swollen or anything. But he said, oh, maybe it's just like a cyst or fat deposit there or something. Because actually I had lost some weight. I lost about 12 kilos since last year, since December. So I lost quite a lot of weight then. So he thought like, oh, maybe it's just like something has been there that you didn't feel previously when you were still having a lot of body fat. Anyway, so I went back, but in 3 days, that swelling increased to the size of like a fried egg. And then at night, I saw that the skin outside was trying to have some coloration. It became like reddish purple, like something like a swollen bump, right on my tummy. So I said, okay, I definitely have to go back to the doctor tomorrow in the morning. So I did go and see the GP. But in the morning, when I was taking my morning shower, I already noticed that there was some rupturing, and yellow pus was coming out from the hole, which was very alarming for me. So after the shower, straight away, I took my boy to school and everything, and then I went to the GP. So when I went to the GP, the first thing the doctor asked me when he saw the wound was like, hey, are you diabetic? And I said, I probably am. I mean, I couldn't conclusively say I 100% suspected it, I was diabetic, but I hadn't done any tests at that point, which is actually a big mistake lah. I should have done it quite a bit earlier. So he immediately told me that, okay, you have like a carbuncle sore. So it's like in Malay they call it biso. Yeah, so sore under the skin in my stomach. So there's pus inside the cavity. So we need to get it out, clean it, and then let it heal. Sounds very simple. So I said, oh, I was wondering whether should I go to the hospital or should I get the treatment done in the clinic. So basically he said, oh, well, you can try doing it in the clinic first. So I did. So on that day itself, he made an incision to cut open the wound to release the pus out, and there was so much. I'm telling you that I've never seen so much. I didn't know there was so much pus. It was like I think a whole Chinese teacup full of pus which came out, and apart from that, it didn't smell bad. There was no smell or anything, but you could see it's yellow pus, which is basically tells you that there's a lot of bacteria. And then also after that he put the dressing on it, and it was the whole day until the next day. It was the liquids kept pouring out, soaking up the whole piece of gauze and cloth material. It was terrible. So disgusting also. But okay, so the doctor explained to me, he said like, okay, people with diabetes, because you have glucose in your blood, so you get bacterial infections very easily. So which kind of explains why the past week or so I had a few wounds like in my mouth and maybe my anus and also in my stomach. So this is a very clear indication of being diabetic. So at the same time, he took a blood sample from me to send to the lab to get my blood work done. So he withdrew some blood. So that was the first day. But there was anesthesia. He gave me a jab to cut and release the pus out. But even that was so painful. Okay, so then I had to go back to the clinic every day to change the dressing and to clean the wound and everything. So this was being done at the GP clinic. I went back for the next 4 days, so like 5 days at the clinic. And every day I went there, I was really literally screaming my head off because after the first day, when they changed the dressing on the second day and so forth, because the wound had or the area around the wound had become a bit hard, so there's no way to give you an injection for the anesthesia. So the GP was, he was cutting, and the wound was the incision was a straight line, just a slit, and then pus was coming out. So he was cleaning it every day, and then sometimes when it closes, he needs to cut it open again. So I was being cut open with scissors or a scalpel or something. I didn't really want to see. I was always looking away. I was lying down and looking away, and I had hemorrhoids a week before, and it was so painful. I'm telling you, this is like 10 times more painful than having hemorrhoids. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's really painful. I was screaming. People outside the room could hear me, and when I came out from the room after my treatment, people were looking at me like, what's going on with this guy? And I'm trying to act cool and quiet. But so I got through but after the 5th day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was getting traumatized mentally. I just couldn't take it anymore. I just didn't want to go back to the clinic to get my treatment. So I went back to the doctor and I said, Doc, I think I need to go to get hospitalized. I can't take it anymore. The pain is too great. So he gave me a referral. So he gave me a referral, and then I went to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I was referred to a surgeon. I went to see the surgeon, and he opened it up. He looked at the wound. I explained to him what had happened, and he told me to he recommended we get surgery immediately, because the wound was big and it was like shape of an egg. So he said like we have to cut an oval. You make an oval hole, right, to open it, and then to release all the parts out at the same time. Whereas if it's only a slit, then a lot of it can get trapped at the bottom and you suffer a lot. So of course, I just listened to my doctor, to my surgeon, and said like, okay, just do whatever you need to do, but make sure I'm having anesthesia and stuff, because the pain I've been enduring for the last 5 days is crazy. It's really crazy. So he said, don't worry. During the surgery you get global anesthesia, so you just be put under with the gas. So that was a big relief. Oh my goodness. I got cut open immediately. No, I think about that evening, because I had to. You have to you have to fast for at least 6 hours before operation, especially because of anesthesia. So you don't, it makes you nauseous sometimes. But anyway, it was okay. I got myself into a ward. Prepped myself, got ready for my operation. So that evening itself, I went for an operation. It was very successful. It cleaned out everything from the wound, and then after that, it was just a matter of making sure it healed properly. I was also on very strong antibiotics for the bacterial infection, and the most important thing, because I had to stop the bacteria, I really had to control my diet and make sure that my glucose levels were normal or low. Because I'll share with you, before going to see the doctor, even the GP, I measured my blood glucose and it was 13 or 13.7, something ridiculously high like that. And this was just because I was eating wrong, eating too much, and even though I wasn't taking sugar, but I was eating I was eating the wrong stuff, and also eating just way too much lah. You've seen me in my videos that sometimes I can eat more, and then the kids don't finish their food and stuff like that, and then you you finish up their food. And guys, later on we'll talk more about this lah, but that's a really bad idea. So that's how diabetes actually gets you, right? When you have high blood glucose, it causes you to get infections very easily. So that's why I had all these problems. At the same time, your body tries to disperse of the glucose through your urine. That's why you go to the toilet so often, and my kidneys were really working overtime. And apart from that, actually, I've had I had a bit of high blood pressure for quite some time. I'm also on high blood pressure medication. Full disclosure. When I first went to the GP, he already advised me how to eat and stuff like that. So I had already started eating pretty clean, like having smaller meals. And I went to the supermarket. I stopped eating rice. I took like a couple of slices of bread a day, eating like salads, making like ham and cheese sandwiches and stuff like that. And in the evening, I wouldn't take much carbohydrates lah. I just have like a salad with grilled chicken or something like that. So I've been eating quite clean until I went into to the hospital, and my blood sugar levels were under control. I mean, I was taking readings every day, and I was getting like between 5.5 to 6.7 mmol per liter lah, of glucose. So that was quite okay, and that helped. I really needed to get out of the danger zone for the sugar, so after the operation the wound would heal properly. So that was a critical part of my healing process. At the hospital, they obviously put me on a diabetic food diet, and I was also trying to observe like what they would serve me, and because from there I can actually learn more about myself. Because when I was warded in the hospital, they were taking my blood sugar like 4 times a day. Even at night, they wake me up in the middle of the night and then take my blood sugar to see where I was, also my blood pressure and everything. So my blood pressure, I was still taking my amlodipine and stuff like that, so it was quite okay lah. I never had like a burst of high blood pressure during my stay at the hospital, and I'm still continuing to measure my high blood pressure, so that one is all under control. But for food, I think I couldn't go on definitely cannot go on eating just salads and a couple of pieces of wholemeal bread every day. So I tried to learn what I could at the hospital, talk a bit to the dietitian, and actually you'll be surprised that the food they serve to me is very edible. Is actually quite nice. I could finish the whole, whatever the whole tray that they brought to me in the ward. So you can see like there was even one day where they gave me like a piece of salmon, a grilled salmon with some cream sauce and mushrooms, asparagus, and then like a handful of pasta in the cream sauce as well. So I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. I mean, I can make this, and I can definitely live eating like this. So actually, it doesn't have to be that bad. You don't have to go all. I know a lot of people are advising. They came and then they advised me to, oh, you can't eat this at all. You can't throw away the rice, and they served me rice in the hospital. Of course, the portions were much smaller than what I was used to eating lah. You've seen me lah. I always get extra rice and extra rice when I go eat chicken rice, so I order one extra small rice or whatever it is. But in the hospital, the portions are you see that they portion it out very well, like a piece of meat or chicken or fish, about this size, and then the rice or carbohydrate would be like smaller than my palm. I mean like half. I would say the amount is like, if you go to, you eat chicken rice, then you order the extra rice, right? The small one, the small bowl. So a bit larger than, I think maybe about 5 tablespoons of cooked rice lah. Basically that's it lah. And the rest of it, and fresh vegetables or even stir-fried vegetables is fine. And then like the salads, you use some vinaigrette, vinegar with olive oil and stuff like that, and it tastes really good. So I started eating like that after I got discharged. So I started eating like that, and then at the same time, I've been thinking like, okay, we still live in Penang, so what about hawker food? Can we eat hawker food? That's a good question. So anyway, I don't want to talk too long in this video lah. I try to keep it as short as possible. But I think it's very good info, and I want to share my experience. I want to share what happened to me as openly as I can lah, right? I think it might help a lot of people out there who are looking for answers. So this is what. But another disclaimer is, this is what happened to me, and these are the things that I did, and I'm sharing with you the results I got. So I'm not sure if this is going to always work for everyone. Probably not, and depends on how acute your diabetes is lah. So the doctor told me that, okay, so for the past couple of weeks I've been doing my blood test and everything, so I've not gone back into the range, the red range of maybe more than 9 mmol. And what happened was I started eating clean, and up till today, since my heaviest weight was around December, end of December, till today I've lost 20 kilos. Today is 18th of March, so I've lost 20 kilos since then. So what you eat and how you eat, how much you eat is very important, because there are many schools of thought. Some people measure the glucose response. If you have a continuous glucose measuring system, then you can see your glucose response or your insulin response to the different types of food that you eat. But some people are more concerned about the number of calories you eat. And for me, I think everything, both of these measurements are important. Like I think the simplest rule of thumb I would say I've learned is portion control. So at any one sitting, do not eat more than that little portion that what I saw in the hospital, like just a little cup of rice, a piece of protein, and like fresh or cooked vegetables, the same amount as the protein. So that's a pretty good balance. And whenever I measured my blood glucose after that, I didn't see much of a spike. Still very stable. I didn't get anything above 7 point something or whatever. And then and then recently, since I've been back and everything, I have tried gone out to have meals at kopitiam. I've tried a couple of things, and then come back and done the blood sugar measurements after one or 2 hours, and they also seem to be quite stable as long as you eat the same portion. Like I used to eat, I would order 1 char kway teow at Jin Cafe, and then tak puas order one more wanton mee or whatever. No, I've stopped all that lah. And I've stopped eating the leftovers from my kids' plate also. So I think that has made it possible for me to eat a bit of hawker food here and there. But going forward, whenever I go out and eat and I try to make a video, I will show and share with you guys my blood glucose response. I think that is important, so people actually know. And if I do eat something which is bad and makes my glucose shoot up, then I'll let you know about it. So that's important. Don't go out and say, hey, this guy said semua boleh makan, everything else can eat. No. Portion control is very important. The number of calories you eat per sitting is very important. What you eat and what's inside the ingredients used to make the dish is important. So I of course I haven't gone out to eat like cendol or ais kacang. No, all this sugar stuff out already. And when I go to the coffee shop, I order maybe like a teh C, no sugar, totally no sugar, kopi C, or just a plain water, or ice limau, this water with lime, and also no syrup, no sugar. So there are a lot of options outside. Actually, don't worry. It's not that you can't eat outside at all. Some of the things I tried out so far, I'll share with you the details later in other videos. Maybe you won't feel so overwhelmed if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, or you want to just have a healthier lifestyle. Yep, this channel I'm always still a food lover, so I want to find out and share with you guys more on not just what's delicious and good in Penang, or maybe even some recipes I can teach, but also to tell you guys about the health impact that these foods will have on your health, basically. as a diabetic. So now I'm a diabetic dad now. So bear with me. I hope that the information I share with you guys is of interest, and it helps you somehow in your life. So I think that's very important. The other thing is, I know that I've received a lot of advice actually from so many parties, and even like different doctors are telling me this and that. But I think we want to have a lifestyle which is sustainable, meaning that you don't suffer and force yourself to do certain things, or not eat this, eat only this, stuff like that. I know some people like there are so many things like keto diet, intermittent fasting. There's so many theories and ways to tackle this problem. But I have to do something which works for me, sustainable for the rest of my life. I have to do something which I can endure. So that's what I'm trying to find, the middle ground of having a good life and also a healthy one. So, and again, this is all based on my experience, what I'm going through, my measurements. You can try it, but maybe not everything works for you at the same time. So, but it's good to share. If you have certain experiences you want to share, just leave a comment down below, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts with you as well. So thank you for your patience in watching this video. I haven't really 100% decided how or what we are going to change now, or how I'm going to do it. I have to brainstorm a little bit. But rest assured, I'll be making another video pretty soon after this, and you'll see how it goes, and then you can give me your feedback so we can tweak what needs to be changed. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.